news from here at home and across the world. This is Primetime News live from the News First studios here in Colombo. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I'm Shahan Jarangpati. A very good evening. Well, we have received reports that thousands of supporters of Mohamed Morsi have gathered in Nasser city in the Egyptian capital to protest against his ouster. Reports are also coming in that several protesters have been killed in clashes.
Meanwhile, the African Union has suspended Egypt from all activities following the ouster of Morsi. The News First international desk has been closely monitoring the developing situation in Egypt, and we'll have more on this story later on in the bulletin. But first, a look at your headlines.
President issues a proclamation to the Elections Commissioner to hold the Northern Provincial Council elections. The Northwestern and Central Provincial Councils to be dissolved at midnight. President says that extremism should be cast aside. Opposition leader visits temples with his constitution.
මේරටේ සංඝයා වහන්සේලා ඉන්නවද කියලා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ දැනගෙන හිටියේ.
Vatican to make Pope John Paul II a saint.
Moving on to the stories in detail now. President Mahinda Rajapaksa attended an event in Beruwala this morning.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa declared open the renovated Seenawatha Jumma Masjid in Beruwala this morning. The head of state also planted a sapling to commemorate this occasion.
අපේ රටේ උපන් කවුරුත් අපේ මිනිස්සු ජාතීන් හෝ ආගම් නොවේ වැදගත් උනේ මේ රට උපන්න කෙනා අපේ මිනිහෙක් කියලායි සැලකුවේ අපි.
Everyone born in this country, the people of our country have not prioritized race or religion. We consider a person born in this country as one of our own. Anyone who considers this land as his motherland should be considered as one of our own, devoid of race or religion. This motherland to which you were born belongs to you. That should be the foundation when living coexistence. The Quran also says, love your country. The love you have for your country is a part of your Iman. Iman means faith. So today we should cast aside extremism. We are not born against other ethnicities. Extremism draws first blood from one's own ethnicity. Extremism should be haram. Patriotism should be halal.
අන්තවාදය හරාම් වෙන්න ඕන. දේශ ප්‍රේමය හලාල් වෙන්න ඕන.
Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya says that the instructions issued by the President to make provisions to hold elections for the Northern Provincial Council was received in writing this afternoon. Meanwhile, the respective provincial governors have said that the Central and Northwestern provinces will be dissolved at midnight today.
The tenures of the present Northwestern and Central Provincial Councils are to expire in March next year. The governors of these provinces have decided to dissolve these councils ahead of time in accordance with provisions in the Constitution. The Central Provincial Council will be dissolved at midnight tonight. Steps have been taken to implement my order, and I signed the relevant document this morning. I hereby inform that the Northwestern Provincial Council will be dissolved at midnight tonight. The President issued a proclamation to the Elections Commissioner this morning to hold elections for the Northern Provincial Council. Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya said that accordingly, preparations are being made to hold Provincial Council elections for the North, Central and Northwestern provinces under Section 10, Subsection 1 of the Provincial Councils Elections Act No. 2 of 1988. The Indo-Lanka Accord, signed on the 29th of July 1987 by then President J.R. Jayawardena and Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, laid the foundation for the establishing of provincial councils in Sri Lanka. As per the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the Provincial Councils Act No. 42 of 1987 was passed into law. As per this amendment, 8 provincial councils were established. These were the Western, Central, Southern, North Central, Northwestern, Over and Northeastern provincial councils. The North and East were merged and nominations were called for elections to the council between the 3rd and 10th of October 1988. As a result of only candidates from the Elam People's Liberation Front or EPRLF contesting from the Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Mana, Mullaitivu and Vavuniya districts, these seats were won uncontested. Elections for seats from the Batticaloa, Trincomalee and Ampara districts were held on the 19th of November 1988. The Northeastern Provincial Council, comprising of 75 councillors, was thus established, with the leader of the EPRLF, Vardaraja Perumal, becoming the first Chief Minister of the Northeastern Province. However, as a result of Perumal declaring the province as a separate state and hoisting the Elam flag, then President R. Premadasa decided in March 1990 to dissolve the Provincial Council. As per the provisions of the Constitution, administration of the province was brought under a governor. As per a Supreme Court determination in 2006, on the 1st of January 2007, the Northeastern Province was split into the Northern and Eastern Provinces. This is the first election to be held for the Northern Provincial Council following the division of the provinces. The government has made promises on a number of occasions to the international community, including India and the United Nations, that elections will be held for the Northern Province. However, constituent parties of the ruling alliance have constantly reiterated that land and police powers must be taken away prior to an election being held in the north. Against this backdrop, the government announced that it would introduce a 19th amendment to the constitution. The purpose of this amendment is to make legal provisions which prevent provincial councils from merging as one and enable Parliament to pass laws on provincial councils with approval coming from a simple majority of the provincial councils. Can changes be made to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution when elections are to be held for these provincial councils?
If the government is desirous of bringing a constitutional amendment at this stage, the fact that there were no Jaffna provincial council or the provincial council elections are to be held, or there were other provincial councils are to be held, cannot be a barrier for that purpose. But the real issue here for not bringing the 13th Amendment into operation by way of an amendment is more the reason that there could be many controversies arising and international disturbances because of the fact that I think they want to have some kind of tranquility during the period that the Commonwealth Conference is scheduled in the month of November 2014.
The announcement of elections for the Northern Provincial Council comes amid a visit to India by the Minister of Economic Development, Basil Rajapaksa. Assistant Secretary at the Indian External Affairs Ministry, A. Vishnuvardhan Reddy, said that Basil Rajapaksa had met with the Indian External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid this afternoon. Minister Rajapaksa had also met with India's National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon.
This is a historical day because Excellency the President Mahinda Rajapaksa announced the Northern Province elections. So it will be held very soon, September. So he signed the proclamation to ordering the Election Commission to constitute the Northern Provincial Council. We have started from implementing the 3D concept, that is the demilitarization of the Northern Province. Then we development, so all the development work have been complete, and from the country to stability we have done that. Now the democratization have to be done. So the democratization is started today.
Meanwhile, speaking to the BBC World Service, Deputy Minister of State at the Indian Prime Minister's office, V. Narayanasamy, said that India is not happy with the Sri Lankan government's effort to dilute the powers of provincial councils.
The agreement between Rajiv Gandhi and Jayawardene, it is an international agreement. It is not an agreement that has been signed within the Sri Lankan government. If it is signed within the Sri Lankan government, it will not bind India. When it was signed between the two sovereign governments, both the governments are bound to implement the agreement. Yeah, but in the international parlance, when an agreement has been signed internationally by two countries, both the countries are bound by it. Supposing if there is a change of mind in one government, they should renegotiate with the government concerned where they entered into an agreement. They cannot unilaterally cancel the agreement.
Two constituent parties of the UPFA who were opposed to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the National Freedom Front and the Jathika Hela Urumaya, refused to comment on the holding of elections. Parliamentary Group Leader of the Tamil National Alliance, MP R. Sambandhan, said that the decision would be made following discussions with party representatives.
Sarath Fonseca, the leader of the Democratic Party, says that the present government has done nothing to bring about harmony between the different ethnicities and religious groups. Fonseca made this statement at a media briefing convened in Jaffna today.
Government has not taken any steps towards stopping the corruption, or doing justice to the people, and bringing democratic values in the country, and to ensure the harmony and the reconciliation between different communities, different religions, people, those who follow different religions, and they are only trying to take the political advantage by maintaining the tension between the communities, tension between different areas in the country. That is to create new problems in the country so that the people are compelled to forget the day-to-day problems they are facing. So therefore, we want to start our new political movement, new political thinking also in the north. So today we came to Jaffna to meet those who matters, the people who are concerned. The present political masters are not interested about bringing about the required facilities and the required surrounding, required environment for the people to have a peaceful life. So we want to create new faces, meet new people, meet new representatives in the north in order to introduce our political movement, and we are looking for courageous people who will think on the new lines, who can sincerely get involved in politics, bearing in mind the grievances and the problems of the people, and hoping that we will have to bring up the country together with the standards, living standards, and the other values of the people.
Fonseca attended a public rally following the media briefing and also engaged in religious observances at the Nallur Kovil.
Speaking at an event held this morning to review the manner in which 17 schools in Nuwara have utilized grants of 500,000 rupees each, Minister of State Management Reforms Navin Dissanayake expressed the following views.
Devolving power to the provincial councils is a good policy, but provincial councils must be given the power to collect resources in their provinces. At present, it is the central government that maintains these provincial councils. In order for the provincial councils to rise independently, it must have the economic ability to generate revenue. Otherwise, it is pointless establishing provincial councils. The majority of those in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who are in parliament have come through the provincial councils. Those who speak against the provincial councils too have come through the provincial council system. There are trends like this, but they are not abnormal.